Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the Rakuten Technology Conference 2013. The next session titled Solve Your Problem, Speed Up Your Life, and Paint It Black with Ruby. Please welcome Ruby and Ruby on Rails committee Mr. Akio Matsuda.
So please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of Ruby and Rails, like this. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. I'm on the internet as Amatsuda, or A_Matsuda. I'm the founder of a local Ruby user group named asakusa.rb. We meet up on every Ruby Tuesday. Actually, yeah, because it's Ruby. We work on Ruby. We meet up on every week, every Tuesday. RB consists of many Rubies, like these two, and Rubies from all over Asakusa region. Actually, from all over Japan. From all over the country, from Hokkaido to Okinawa. And in fact, from all over the world. From Asian countries like Taiwan, China, Singapore, and from states like New York and San Francisco, and from Australia, from South America, and from Europe, of course. So, I guess we are the most diverse community in the world, I think. And finally, I'm a Rubyist. I'll talk about this later. So, let's begin. I hear every programmer say that Ruby is a web language, web programming language, and Ruby is a kind of slow language, right? So what does this mean? What Ruby is a web language. What is a web language? Needless to explain. Obviously, it is. Right? For example, in my case, I use Ruby because I'm a web programmer, firstly. And, you know, I'm sure every web programmer is using Ruby and Rails. So that's why I'm kind of forced to use Ruby. Ruby is language on the Rails. So we have no other choice. We have to use Ruby. I mean, Rails is my business, and business is good. So I'm just have to work on Ruby. I'm working with Ruby and Rails. I mean, I didn't choose Ruby. So facing with Ruby is unavoidable to live as a web programmer. So again, this way we're forced to use Ruby, but I hear every programmer say Ruby is slow. How can we deal with this? So if it's slow, what shall I do? What shall we do? This is the recent worldwide trend that people tend to kind of complain that Ruby is slow at Ruby conferences all over the world. They just insist that Ruby is slow and say nothing else. They just want to say that, but they have no solution. They bring no patches. So At least in this year, I attended like 5 or 6 or 7 conferences, and at every conference, I hear this kind of talk. They say, main reasons, they say the garbage collector is slow, or because Ruby has the giant VM lock thing, that's why Ruby is slow. So, about GIL or GPL, what exactly is it? Someone asked me, I don't know. So please ask Koichi-san over there. No, actually, I mean, you don't need to know what exactly it is, because I hear every programmer say that we can use JRuby or Rubinius. They are better than Maths Ruby, and they have no GIL. So let's just throw MRI away and let's move to Rubinius or something. Right? That's how we can be happier. So thank Maths Almighty, we got freedom. And yeah, roll over Koichi, tell Patchmonster the truth. We have another implementation that had no GIL today. So, how does it work without GIL? Let's take a look. Like, this is a short program that creates 5,000 threads and adds something into the array. And at last, it counts the size of the array. What's going to happen? Can you imagine? In Maths Ruby, of course, it returns 5,000, and in other Rubies that has no GIL, it returns something else. Oops. Right? So, obviously, GIL is a thing that protects us from this tragedy. If you're brave enough that you can deal with this problem, then you may use Rubinius or JRuby. Right? So, again, what can we do against the problem that Ruby is slow? Please don't troll. Please don't troll at Maths Ruby. It's not like so there's a big trend in the world, Ruby conferences, but I don't like this trend. I mean, I'm not talking about the sexual assault thing. I'm talking about MRI assault. After many talks at Ruby conferences, the speaker claims that Ruby GC is slow or GIL sucks. Just complains without suggesting any realistic solution, or in other words, no patch. They say Ruby VM is slow, JVM is faster, so let's use JRuby or Rubinius. Again, don't throw, please, code. Unless you're a VM programmer. Don't touch this problem. That's Koichi's business, and that's why Heroku, the company, pays him, right? So it's not our business. Instead, find a problem that you can actually solve. So, yes, and thank you again. Thank you, Heroku, for financially supporting Ruby development. I still hear the phrase like "Kokusan Gengo," Ruby is made in Japan, but the fact is that Ruby is sponsored by an American company. That's the fact. Anyway, to deal with your problem, here's an example. I know a person who actually does this. He thought his own framework Ruby on Rails is slow because, not because Ruby is slow, but to find another slow point, the asset pipeline, the JavaScript and images and style sheets. So he invented, actually not himself, but anyway, his company invented a new technology called asset pipeline. And he thought Rails is slow, still slow because we're reloading these assets for every request. So recently he created again new technology called turbo links. Actually, apparently he's a speed demon. He wants everything around him to be faster and faster, and you know, he has his own framework and he thinks it's not fast enough. So he's constantly improving his software. Like 10 years, even 10 years are about to pass, and from the initial release, it was initially released at 2004, I think. So the guy is still making the progress. It's really amazing. And of course, I'm talking about this guy, the Speed King. So look at his attitude. He's not just sitting and complaining about Ruby language, but he's always trying to positively improve the situation for a decade. And that is why he's truly outstanding. And that is why the train kept on rolling 10 years long. So let's just think about our realistic problems. As I can imagine, I can think of, I found these problems. I came up with this. Firstly, required. We require many libraries, many files in our Rails application, right? So, one day, Koichi-san suggested me that we'd better replace all require calls to require a relative, which is introduced from Ruby 1.9. And I'm not talking about the runtime performance, but we thought Rails should be getting faster when I kickstart my server, right? So we tried. This way. Actually, the branch is on my GitHub page. What I did was like this. I just replaced all require calls in the Rails framework to require relative. I substituted 544 lines. And the result was no improvement at all. I can get no performance improvement. So Koichi lied to me. And so we digged deeper, a bit more, and it turned out that RubyGems actually makes kernel require slow by overriding the require method, and the bundler operand rewrites it and makes the required method very fast. So Koichi does not use bundler in his daily life, so he didn't know about this. So thank you, bundler, for making our require faster. Okay, so this was about our failure. And another topic, another thing I found which is slow is database cleaning. You know, production application, we found that 10% of total reg spec consumption time was just spent for deep database cleaning, delete or truncate. We measured, then the result was like this. So I rewrote from the bottom up, from the scratch, the database cleaner, and I wanted the cleaner to come cleaner faster, and so I decided not to delete all tables, but just call delete if I hear insert. And here's the repository. As a result, it was like this. It took almost like no time, like less than 10 minutes, 10 seconds for cleaning. So obviously this was effective for our project, but still it's like version 0.1 or 2, so it might be not stable as Ruby, database cleaner. But if you think your rake spec is slow, I recommend you to try this. Right. Yeah, another one. So imagine you have a very, very huge HTML page, like, for example, like on your top page of your web application, which has many, many partials like headers and footers and sidebars and the main content and etc. etc. In such case, you need to run SQL queries many, many times, like 20 or 30 or more. So I thought that we can separate the huge web page into several partials, then load the partials by a separate request. Actually, Rails views already have partials, so isn't it nice if we could load partials via Ajax? I tried. And here's the product. The syntax is very simple, straightforward. Just add remote true to your render partial call. Then the partial will be loaded in a separate request. So in some very huge HTML page, it will be very effective, I think. Again, if you're interested, give this a try. Okay, another topic. I said required is fast because bundler makes it faster, but still, bundling gems is very, very slow. And bundling a lot of gems makes bloat up the load path. For example, not big sized application, but it bundles, like it puts 200 paths into load path. Actually, the bundled number of gems are like less than 100. So, for every required call, it runs through all these 200 load paths. That should make required slower. So I imagine, can they squashed into one lib directory? Because each gem are basically namespaced under directories with the gem name. So there should be no file overlapping between other gems. So in most cases, this should work. I mean, For example, if you have two gems, gem 1 and gem 2, generally each of these gems lib directory will be added to the work path. So why not squash them into one directory like this, and then just load that one directory. I suppose this should work. I tried, but I'm still not so successfully running Rails under this. Actually, Rails is working, but our application still doesn't work on this. So it should be possible, but it's not on GitHub yet. It's only on my local machine at the moment. But if you have any interest, if you're interested in this approach, please talk to me later. So anyway, so here are another ideas I have. I'm willing to make Haml faster and ActiveRacket faster because obviously these are the bottlenecks in some cases. As for Haml, I think they're one competitor to Haml, which is called Slim or something, and they advertise themselves that we are faster than Haml, right? So I should defeat them as a Haml committer. Actually, yeah, I don't want to lose to Slim, so I should work on making Haml faster. And another idea is that ActiveRacket nowadays is very, very slow. I mean, the ActiveRacket instance objects are very huge, so I think we can slim the objects more. Maybe we can stop depending on Arrow. It's just an idea, but I think. As of these two products, both of these two products are doing too much. So maybe I'm not 100% copying the specification, but kind of cut down some features so that we can make it faster. So again, Ruby is a web language. But I said Ruby is a web language, this is true, but still, Ruby is not web-only language, I believe. Ruby can be off Rails in some situations. So I'm going to talk about another software I'm working on recently to improve my daily life. One thing I hate on my computer is this thing, the Finder app. Who here are using Macintosh and totally happy with the Finder app? I think nobody, right? It just sucks. If you don't agree with me, my talk today was already finished, so you can go home. I really think that Finder app is so tragic. So last month at a Rails Benkyokai, we talked about why Finder app sucks, and we agreed that we need a better kind of filer. And so I started creating it since last month. So here are some reasons why we think Finder app sucks. Two reasons: productivity and design. Imagine, it's so hard on the Finder app to do this like simple things such as make a new directory or remove a file, not just trash, but remove a file, or CD to a hidden directory. It's so hard to do these things. And I guess it's impossible to do the next things. How can I touch a new file? Or how can I create a symbolic link? Or how can I, chimodo in Japanese, change mode? So apparently it fires off productivity. And as a design, I hate it because it's white. I see a white window and I want it painted black. I hate these. I don't want no colors anymore. I love this thing. So I'm always frustrated by these white windows, this white thing. Actually tried to get used to this white windows for more than 10 or 20 years, but finally I couldn't. I gave up. And I made my own Finder. And so far it's so good. So, how can Finder app be better, in my opinion? It needs to be more productive and it needs to be painted black. So, we chose this approach. We cloned F-3. F-3 is a MS-DOS application, and still I like it. F-3 was originally invented around 1989, so actually it's older than Ruby. It's not very modern, yet I think it's sexy. So I decided to get back to F-3. I don't think I'm sticking to an old tool that I'm used to because I'm too old. I'm creating this not just for nostalgia, but again for productivity. So my F-3 should work on Unix operating systems and on terminal applications. It's created on Ruby and it uses curses, actually N curses. It's online at this URL. It's available as a Ruby gem. And here's the basic design. I designed it as a file manager plus Vim. It's designed in simple MVC, like this. And I'm planning to make it customizable and plug-inable. The implementation is basically like this. Just the mouse. So, for example, if you press the J button, same method here. If you press K button, it invokes K method here. It's pretty straightforward, right? So C for copying a file, D for deleting files. What else? Click, double click, space. Minus 0 to 9. And these special characters. It's so funny that even these characters can be a method. Look at this. Right? So basically commands are defined like that, and each command is defining that file, and pressing the key on a keyboard simply sends to that method. We have these kind of commands. I'm not going to explain in detail, but let me just do a short demonstration. So, I'm sorry, my repository is broken. So, here's how it looks like. You can move your cursor by J button, CD to upper directory by backspace, and you can browse like this. Delete a file, you can copy a file. For example, use a zip file. So you can get into a zip file as if it's a directory. No, it's not working. It should be able. Okay, it's broken. So anyway, oh, it's broken. So anyway, we have these commands at the moment. So I have a lot of things to do, like the tree view we originally had in F-3, or it's designed to be customizable, but still have no actual customization point. I'm planning to implement undo feature and watching directory feature, and more to come. So here's a summary. I use Ruby to solve my problems, such as running RSpec is slow, or I have a huge web page, or things like that. So I use Ruby to solve my problems. In my opinion, open source development is not volunteering. You no need to contribute to someone else. It's a good place to start with your own problem and solve your own problem in your work or in your life. So, and Ruby is slow, and I'm trying to make it faster. I'm not working on the virtual machine or GC, but I'm trying to make my Ruby faster. So you can do it, even if you're not a kernel hacker or GC hacker or VM hacker or something like that. There are many unoptimized parts in your Rails application, whole application stack. So, for example, you can improve HAML, or you can improve, I don't know, your pagination gem, or your helper library, or your JavaScript library, probably. These are also really open source activity. And I'm painting it black with Ruby. It works fine, and I'm so happy with it for now. So apparently Ruby makes me happy because Ruby can paint it black. Then conclusion, I'm happy with Ruby because I think I'm solving my problems. I'm playing with Ruby. So I recommend you all to play with Ruby, play more with Ruby and have fun rather than just use it for your work. Right? And actually Ruby is my hobby and Ruby is my fun, and I'm totally having fun with Ruby. This is an autograph and a message from Dave Thomas he gave me 6 years ago, I think. This still is my treasure. And Dave, I think I'm doing this. I'm having fun. So, thank you all. Thank you for listening. This is Animal Talk. Thank you.
Please raise your hand if you have any questions. Are there any questions?
I want to ask how can you make Ruby fast and how can you make Rails faster?
As for Ruby, basically it's not our job. That's why Koichi sits there. So he can make Ruby faster, and he actually does it days and days. So trust him. And as for Rails, as I told you, DHH is working on making Rails faster every day in his own approach. And there are other Ruby cores who's working on this. For example, Aaron Patterson. He took when he joined a Rails core, what he firstly did was refine a pile of shit called rack mount. He totally rewrote rack mount with his own library journey because he found that the routing engine is very, very slow in Rails. And next, he worked on active record in Averil. So at the time he joined the Rails core, Averil was like less than version 2, I think. And now Averil is version 4 because of his hard work. And it's getting very, very kind of good thing. Averil is kind of nicely crafted, very well produced library. Yeah, but I personally don't like the taste, but it's good. So, these genius people are working on the core Ruby and Rails. And what we can do is, again, solve our more daily problems. I think that's still what we can do. We can improve our own libraries. Like, for example, I'm creating my own pagination library. Called Kaminari, And I created this because at the moment I tried Rails 3, I couldn't find any actually working pagination library in the world. I mean, Will paginate wasn't working at the moment, so I created my own. So you can find such problems every day around your life. So please find the problem and solve it, and push it to GitHub.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions? Okay, we will end this session. Thank you very much, Mr. Matsuda. Now we will have a short 20-minute break. From 4 p.m., we will start the next session titled Do-It-Yourself Organizational Patterns at Home. The talk will be given by writer, lecturer, and researcher in the field of the computer science, Mr. James McCaffrey. For information on the other sessions, please check program guide for more details. Thank you.